Hey guys, it's Ashley with Pugs and Pearls, and tonight I'm going to be doing an eyeshadow palette tag, and I am so excited. I love filming these types of videos. I love talking about my eyeshadows. I have a ton of palettes, and this tag was actually started by Allie Glines and Samantha March. They kicked off this tag, and I want to say I saw it about a week ago, and I started compiling all of the palettes that I wanted to share with you guys and a list of all of the questions. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Alrighty guys, so the first question is, what is your newest eyeshadow palette? And I actually have two different ones that I purchased recently in the Sephora VIB sale at the very same time. The first one is the Huda Beauty. This is the Mercury Retrograde palette. This is so gorgeous. I have been testing this out lately. It's got a lot of different colors, and it's just really a fun palette. I have to say, like, this is going to be, I think, one of my top summer palettes this year, just because there's so many pretty colors, there's so many different looks. You can go colorful, you can go a little bit neutral, but there's a lot of different options with this, and the quality is spot on. The next eyeshadow palette that I purchased in that same order was a Charlotte Tilbury palette. This is their Mini Darling palette. This is such a cute neutral palette. It has just really pretty, very neutral tone shades. This is something that I could use in a very everyday look. The colors, the pigments are very, very nice. They blend together super smoothly. I've recently done a get ready with me video that I will link here as well if you want to check it out, but I am in love with this little mini palette. Alrighty guys, the next question is, what is your oldest palette? Now I am going to do two for this. I'm going to do a drugstore version, and I'm going to do a high-end version, just because I have two memories of what my first real palettes were that I actually can remember. So the first one is my drugstore one, and I looked high and low for this. I have actually repurchased this because I used my original up, but technically this was the first palette I ever used, especially when I started doing YouTube many years ago. The first one is from CoverGirl. It's the Shimmering Sands palette, and I'm going to pop it up right here. It basically has three simple, very basic shimmer shades, but oh my gosh, if you did not know what you were doing, you could make a look with this and it would turn out great every single time. It was also what I considered lazy girl makeup. It was super easy to figure out, super easy to use, and again, I had gone through a full one of those and had repurchased another one. I just can't find it, but I do still have that in my collection. Now, the next one is a high-end one. This is my oldest high-end palette. This is from the Urban Decay Naked line. I don't even think they make this anymore. I think they came out with the Urban Decay Reloaded palette. But you guys, this is probably, again, it just is such a special palette to me. I am not going to throw this away, even though it is old. I still think my shadows actually are decently work really well. But this was just, again, another neutral lover's dream palette. It was a little bit higher end, a little bit more options for color. So this is what I kind of upgraded to after that Shimmering Sands palette. I wish you could still get this. I think it's better than the Reloaded. I just don't like that one as much. But this just holds a lot of good memories for me. My mother actually purchased this for me for the holidays one year, and I remember her telling me that when she purchased it, she actually kept it for herself and then went and bought me another one because she ended up liking it so much too. Alright, the next one is, what is your most expensive palette? And I'm going to have one repeat here, guys. That is going to be the Huda Beauty Retrograde palette. Again, this one is in the $65 range. Now, I did not pay that. I got this on sale during the Sephora VIB sale, so it was 15% off. Otherwise, I probably would not purchase that. I typically do not get eyeshadow palettes that are above the high or above 60 usually. I try to stay towards under than that, but I am not regretting this palette at all. I love it very much. I'm just glad I got it on sale. Alrighty guys, the next question is, what is your most affordable eyeshadow palette? And I have to go with the Wet n Wild. They used to have trios, and now they have the Color Icon sets, and basically you get like a mini palette in one. So this is like some of the newer versions here on the left, and then this is some of the older versions where it was just 3 shadows. This older version is called Walking on Eggshells, and then this newer version is called For a Queen. This one was limited edition, but they do make them in the same type of format where you get 1, 2, 3, 4 shades in one little quad. They're very tiny. They're very affordable. I know everyone who did this tag is picking the little e.l.f. palettes. I don't have those. Those are $3. I want to say these are around the same price mark. Very cheap, very affordable, and you can get these at the drugstore. Alright guys, the next question is what is your everyday palette? And I am so excited that I got this recently. This is the Bare Necessities from ColourPop. To me, this is the essential girls neutral everyday color look. You basically have lots of different options to choose from to do something very, very neutral. To me, this is something that I could wear to work every single day and still change it up a little bit, do something maybe a little bit smoky, a little bit shimmery, a little bit matte. You just have so many options with this palette, so I am a big fan, and the quality of the ColourPop eyeshadows is actually extremely good for the price. So I think you are really getting your money's worth with these types of palettes from ColourPop. The next question, guys, is what is your most colorful eyeshadow palette? And I had to go with the Vice palette from Urban Decay. They used to come out with these palettes like every year and they were always colorful. I only have one of them and it has this pretty kind of like green and purple reflection to it. This is an older palette. I don't think you can get this anymore, but I typically don't wear a lot of colorful shadows just because I typically keep towards the nudes. But this is probably my most colorful eyeshadow palette. I definitely have some cool pops of color in here. This is a palette that I really don't reach for that often, and again, that's just because I do not typically go for a lot of color in my looks, but this is nice to pull out when I do want just maybe like a certain pop of color on my lid. Alrighty guys, so the next question is what is your smallest eyeshadow palette? And technically the little ones I showed you from Wet n Wild are my smallest eyeshadow, but I have something else that I wanted to share with you that is another really tiny eyeshadow palette that I really do like. This is the Urban Decay Naked Petite Heat palette. This is kind of a miniature version of their big heat palette that came out. I really, really like these shades. This gives you a nice warm look that you can pretty much just pop on with ease. The mattes are very nice, the pigment is good, and the colors blend really well together. And again, it's just an easy, really compact one that you can travel with, and I love their little mini palettes that they put out like this. I don't think they have a ton anymore, but this is one that I just still have in my collection that I do enjoy. Next, guys, is what is your biggest palette? Now, I kind of have a tie for this. These are both BH Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes. Not only is the palette quite large, but you can see the size of the shadows are actually large as well. So this first one is the Modern Neutrals 28 color eyeshadow palette. Again, very neutral. That's what I tend to like on this channel. This one still has a bit of a pop of color, so if you're looking to do something, I actually would wear this one a lot in the fall time. Most of these, again, actually all of these are mattes, so I always really liked that because I could do a lot of cool looks with these matte shadows. The other one from BH is the Essential Eyes, and this is more of a mix of like shimmers in here, but they're very, very marginal shimmers. They're not really like, they don't have glitter in them or anything like that, and there is a mix of mattes as well. Again, very neutral, very easy to wear eyeshadows. Again, BH Cosmetics, if you've never checked them out, they're very affordable and they have a lot of different options, including color if you're looking for color, but I just went for the neutrals. Next up, guys, the question is what is an eyeshadow palette that has a favorite memory? And oh my gosh, I knew exactly which palette I was going to grab for when they asked this question. This is probably one of my most prized palettes. You cannot get this anymore. It was a limited edition from Lorac, and it was a collaboration with Pirates of the Caribbean. And this is Jack Sparrow's Compass in an eyeshadow palette. I also live in Tampa, Florida, and we have Gasparilla every year, which is a very big pirate festival. I pull out this eyeshadow palette at least once a year to do looks for an eyeshadow for the Gasparilla Pirate Parade. I am obsessed. This is a very cool toned palette. It does have some color in there, but it leans very cool, very dark, very sultry. I've got quite a few eye looks on my channel with kind of like pirate themed makeup in mind. I am just a big fan, and one of the cool things about it was not only the packaging, the quality of the eyeshadows is there. It has a little hidden compartment where you can actually put the cheek palette in there, which I do have as well. But since this is just an eyeshadow palette tag, I really, really just wanted to share with you guys one of my favorite palettes of all time. And again, I was so excited when this came out. I was counting down the days for this to go basically on sale, and I purchased it the first hour that it was on sale. And again, I love it so much, and I think it's such a pretty unique packaging and well done palette. The next question, guys, is what is a palette that is worth the hype? And I thought about this because there are so many palettes that get hyped up every single year. This is one that took me a while to purchase, but it definitely was because of the hype of this product. So this is from a company called Colored Rain Cosmetics, and this is their Queen of Hearts palette. This really is worth the hype. The pigments are really, really great. You can do a lot of really cool looks with it. The shimmers are just amazing, and I really, really loved it. I wore this for Valentine's Day this year. I did a date night look and I went out, but you've got some oranges, you've got some purples, and the quality is really here with this palette. So many people talked about it, and eventually I did purchase it when it went on sale. I do recommend it. It is a lot of fun, and I think Colored Rain does a really good job on their products. Alrighty guys, the next question is what is a palette that is not worth the hype? Now, one thing that came to mind, this was a long time ago, so if you haven't been around in a while in makeup, you might not remember this, but Too Faced one year came out, I want to say it was during the holidays, with a mini white chip chocolate palette. And it was this really tiny baby palette, and when I got it in, I was really excited about it because I love mini palettes, but the pigments were terrible. I don't know what formula they used, but it was not their regular formula. I ended up throwing that palette away because I was so angry with it. Why didn't I take it back and get my money? I don't know. I don't remember, but I hated it so much I literally threw it away. But I will try to find a picture and pop it up for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about. You guys, the next question is to share a palette from a favorite brand, and I picked up a recent one. This is Tarte. This is their High Tides and Good Vibes palette, and I just love it. If you guys can see, like, there's water in this, so it kind of moves around. I just thought this was so cool, and I definitely wanted to highlight Tarte. Not only is it got a little sea turtle, which I absolutely love, but this is a really fun palette, and the quality is definitely there. You've got some neutrals, you've got some glitters, and you've got some bright blues over here, but they're kind of laid out in this really kind of unique format with triangles. You get a ton of product with these, and not only that, the shades really are nice. Like, I've already done a look on this, and I've got it on my channel. I'll link it again here, but I definitely wanted to highlight Tarte because I do love their products and I do love their palettes, and I just didn't have many in this particular tag, so I wanted to put them in here. Alrighty guys, we are at the very last question, and that is what is your most used palette? And right now I have to say I've been using this palette very consistently for the last 2 years. This is the Too Faced Natural Eyes palette. Again, if you are a natural lover, you love very natural makeup, very neutral makeup, you are going to want this in your collection. So just so that you can see up close, I have hit pan on multiple shades in this palette. It is a mix of mattes and also some shimmers. But this is such a nice, again, very sturdy, well-built palette. The shades blend out super smooth, and you just get a very nice natural look every single time. And I've gotten so many compliments when I wear these shades. Again, for a very average like work day, this is appropriate all the time. So it's a go-to palette for me, and a big recommend if you don't have this in your collection and you really like natural nude shadows. Alrighty guys, that's it for the eyeshadow palette tag. I hope you enjoyed. I had so much fun filming this. Please, let's do this in the comments below. If you don't have a channel, please list your questions and answers down below. I will write it in the comments so you can see what the questions were. Share with me in the comments so that we can talk. And then if you do have a channel and you are going to do this tag, I tag you. Please tag me so that I know that you've done it and I will watch your video. Thank you guys so much for coming tonight. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.